Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something that, well, I know comes up for a lot of you. It's that feeling of being stuck when you're learning a language, especially English, even when you're putting in the hours. That gap between understanding quite a bit and actually speaking smoothly.
Oh, absolutely. It's incredibly common. Learners hit this kind of plateau, right, where it feels like progress just slows way down, even though they're still studying.
Exactly. And what we've sort of pieced together from, well, imagine listening to language experts talking this through. The big idea is this. Fluency isn't really about talent, not some magic gift. It's fundamentally a habit, something you build day by day.
That's such a crucial shift, isn't it? It takes the pressure off aiming for some, huge, maybe intimidating goal
Yeah.
and brings it down to concrete things, manageable actions you can actually do
Yeah.
every day. So our mission here in this deep dive is to really get under the skin of what fluency means and, maybe more importantly, how you can weave that practice into your daily life, make it stick.
Okay, so let's start there. Defining fluency. Because I think a lot of people imagine someone speaking, like, perfectly, using all these complex words without blinking.
Yeah, that's a really common picture, but it's not quite right. Fluency, at its heart, is about speaking naturally, without those really long pauses where you're desperately searching for a word. It's about getting your thoughts across comfortably, clearly. It's not perfect grammar. And it's definitely not about using the most complex vocabulary possible. Think about your first language. You don't consciously map out the grammar, do you? The words just, well, they just come out.
Right, it's that flow, that ease. Like you said, in your native language, you're not thinking, okay, subject, verb, object. It just happened.
Precisely. And that really highlights the main point here, building that kind of fluency. It isn't like flicking a switch, it's gradual. It comes from doing small things consistently over time.
Okay, so if it's built by doing consistently, our sources make this really helpful distinction between a skill and a habit. Can you unpack that a bit?
Sure. Think about a skill. Riding a bike is a classic example. You learn it, you practice, eventually you can do it. But maybe you don't ride every single day, right? It's a skill you can call upon even if you haven't done it in ages. Typing could be another one.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. So how does a habit differ?
Well, a habit is something you do regularly,
Oh,
almost automatically. Brushing your teeth, maybe making coffee in the morning. Those are habits. You don't really debate doing them each day. They're just part of your routine. It connects to this idea of automaticity in language, making it feel more effortless.
right. So the big takeaway is that fluency isn't just about knowing loads of English vocabulary and grammar rules. That's maybe more the skill part. It's about the doing. Regularly engaging with English, making it part of your day. That's the habit.
Exactly that. It's the daily dose, that consistent practice that really builds fluency. Short, regular bursts are actually way more effective than trying to cram in like a 3-hour session once a week. It's a bit like how memory works, isn't it? Spaced repetition, even small baits, helps things stick much better than cramming.
That really does make a lot of sense. Okay, so if building this habit is so powerful, why do so many of us get stuck? What trips people up?
Well, one major reason, and our sources really point to this, is treating English like a school subject. The focus is all on memorizing rules, getting ready for tests, doing exercises in a book, and less on English as, well, a living thing, a tool you actually use to communicate.
Yeah, it's like reading about swimming. You can read all the books, understand the physics, but until you actually jump in the pool and, try to swim.
Perfect analogy. You know the theory, but you haven't practiced the doing.
Yes.
Relying too heavily on just the rules, the textbooks, without actually speaking enough, that creates the gap. You can end up knowing a lot about English, but still feel really hesitant to actually use it.
So it boils down to a mindset shift then, doesn't it? Getting away from that feeling of, I'll speak when I'm ready or when I'm perfect, and instead just starting, using it daily, even if it's just small things, now.
Precisely. You have to
Yeah.
embrace that practice is the way to get better. It's not something you earn the right to do later. You don't wait to feel fluent before you start speaking. You start speaking in order to become fluent.
Okay, right. So practically speaking, how do we build this habit? It sounds good, but what can people actually do day to day?
Well, the good news is it doesn't have to be this huge time commitment, honestly. Even just say 10 minutes a day of focused practice. That can make a real difference over time. And the sources we looked at offer some really practical, actionable ideas.
Okay, let's hear them. What are some of these simple habits?
One that's super accessible is just, well, talking to yourself in English. As you go about your day, just narrate things. Okay, I'm making some tea now. You need to remember to send that email. Might feel a bit strange at first, maybe, but it's zero pressure. You're practicing forming sentences, getting used to the feel of the language in your mouth. It helps internalize patterns.
That's brilliant, actually, because there's no fear of making mistakes in front of someone, right?
Yeah.
Just you and your thoughts in English.
Exactly. Another really powerful one is passive listening. Just surround yourself with English audio,
Mhm.
podcasts, YouTube, music, audiobooks. Have them playing while you're doing other stuff, commuting, cleaning the house, going for a walk, whatever. It really helps your brain absorb vocabulary subconsciously, and you get attuned to the rhythm, the intonation. You could even, listen to this deep dive.
Huh. Good point. Part of the solution. But it's true, even just hearing it in the background helps. What else?
Keeping a really short English diary. Super simple. Just aim for like 2 or 3 sentences a day. Today was busy. I felt tired this afternoon. Looking forward to the weekend. It's not about writing essays. It's just about that consistent, simple output.
That sounds so manageable. Just a tiny bit of writing.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about actually, interacting?
Yeah, using language learning apps or finding a language partner online. Even if you only chat for, say, 5 minutes, those short bursts of real interaction are gold for building confidence, getting that real-time practice. The trick is finding things you can actually stick with
Oh,
consistently.
so it really is about finding those small, sustainable actions. Things you can genuinely repeat every day or most days. It's not about needing these massive blocks of study time.
Exactly. And that brings us to something really important. Motivation versus discipline. Or, well, habit.
Ah, yes. We all know that feeling, right? Super motivated one week, then the next. It just feels like hard work.
Totally. Motivation comes and goes. It's just not reliable, is it? And that's where the power of habit really kicks in. Even on those days when you're tired, not feeling it. If that little bit of English practice is just baked into your routine, you're much more likely to still do it, even if it's just for 5 minutes. The habit carries you through when the motivation dips. Setting a specific time can help build that discipline initially.
So the advice isn't to just wait until you feel motivated. It's about building the routine, the habit, so it happens anyway. And maybe starting by just picking one small thing, one English-related action you can realistically do every day.
That's absolutely the first step, the crucial starting point for building that real fluency habit.
Okay, so let's sort of wrap this up. The big message from digging into these expert ideas seems really clear. Fluency isn't this magic destination you arrive at. It's something you build, brick by brick, through daily habits.
Yes, it's about choosing regular engagement over trying to be perfect right away or knowing absolutely everything, speaking slowly sometimes, making mistakes. That's not failure. That's actually part of the process, part of the growth.
And it's definitely okay not to be perfect when you start.
Yeah.
You have to start building that consistency.
Which leads to a final thought, really, something for you, the listener, to think about. What's one small, consistent action you could start weaving into your day? Maybe starting today. What's one thing you could do to start nurturing your own English fluency habit? Just give that some thought, and then maybe take that first small step.